Welcome back again, everybody, to the 423 Football Podcast. Today is our Wednesday Super Bowl 52 preview show. We are just a few days away from the big game, Patriots and Eagles, and we're going to break that down throughout the show today. That's going to be the majority of the show, in fact. Talking Super Bowl. I'm your host, Brandon Bouchard, joined here by Brett Hamilton.
Hello!
Okay, and since we're talking Super Bowl, we got to have a beer with us. I mean, that's a given. If you're talking football in general, you got to have a beer, but Super Bowl, definitely. You want to introduce this? We got two different ones, but from the same brewery, but Brett's had this before. I have not.
The Fat Bottom Brewing Company. Great name. It's from almost local, pretty local to us, Nashville.
Almost local.
Nashville.
Nashville,
yeah,
Tennessee.
I couldn't get the N out. It's Nashville, Tennessee. Brandon is having the Ruby Red Ale, and I'm having the Knockout IPA. I've had the Ruby Ale before. I really like it. I've never tried the IPA. I actually didn't know that they made other things besides the Ruby beer. So I'm excited.
If you had to describe this Ruby beer in one word, what would you say?
I would say...
Has to be at least 5 syllables long.
Oh, golly. I was just going to say red.
Okay, I expect to taste red in this. Oh, yeah. We'll go ahead and crack these bad boys open. Red.
Well.
The aftertaste is red.
Mm-hmm.
Not the first taste, the little bit.
The IPA is good.
We'll have to switch here in a
hoppy.
minute.
Yeah. Extremely hoppy, but I like that a lot.
Yeah, and again, we do not take money from these breweries or anyone for that matter. We just like drinking the beer and talking about them.
Yep.
And this
No
one,
money.
It's fantastic.
It's good. I like it a lot. I had it at a baseball game. It's a very good baseball game beer. Obviously, as you can see,
It does.
It's a picture of a baseball diamond on the label. Mine's since the knockout. It's the.
Do you have a different girl on the label?
Yeah.
I got a redhead. Red, ruby. That makes sense.
That makes sense. Mine's a picture of a boxing ring. Pretty cool. Knockout IPA.
Knockout.
Makes
I like
sense
the
to me.
cans. The cans are nice.
Yeah, they're tall boys. So.
All right, so we'll be sipping on these throughout the episode. But before we get into the Super Bowl preview, I do want to say that we might... Well, I guess I'll talk about it at the end, so it'll be fresh on everyone's mind. But I was trying to plot out like a schedule for the upcoming weeks, because I know after the Super Bowl we're going to shift to kind of a different schedule, maybe release on Mondays. It's still going to be one a week, most likely. And
it's the off-season schedule.
Yeah, off-season schedule. We're still trying to figure that out, but I'll break that down at the very end. So,
Yep.
Super Bowl 52, here we go. Eagles and Patriots on Sunday at 6:30 Eastern Time in U.S. Bank Stadium, home of the Vikings. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah,
poor Vikings.
One game away.
I feel for you. I couldn't stand seeing another, like, you're one game away, and then the team that beat you is rolling into town to play in your stadium and try to win a title.
Yeah, that's just, that's bad.
Heartbreaking. But anyway, Patriots 4.5-point favorites in this game. They opened at 5.5, I believe, but now they're down at 4.5 now. So I guess a little tighter. And granted, when I first saw this matchup, granted I've been doubting the Eagles ever since Foles took over up until last week. But when this...
Yeah, ever since the first game, I feel bad about it. I've been saying I haven't been giving the Eagles a chance. And I think they're kind of feeding off that in the locker room. That's what I would do. I would take that as like, as soon as our quarterback went down, everyone discounted everything that our team did up until this point. And they pretty much put it on the shoulders of Carson Wentz, which that obviously isn't the case. But I didn't give him a chance against the Falcons. I didn't give him a chance against the Saints. No.
Vikings.
The Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings. But here they are.
Yeah. I will say, like, I got to stop going back and forth. I just need to stick to my guts when it comes to takes, because when Carson Wentz first went down, before Foles even had a chance to play, I was like, Nick Foles and this team's defense is good enough to get there. I guess it just took a little while, because I had faith in Foles from the
he definitely had his bad games.
But then he started playing like garbage, and then kind of.
That's one of the biggest factors going into this game is which Nick Foles is going to show up.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see the Nick Foles of last week, so we actually have a good game. But anyway, I guess Nick Foles versus Tom Brady in this one. At first glance, obviously Tom Brady's going to have the upper hand in this game, but last week actually Nick Foles, he had a 92.9 grade from Pro Football Focus in that NFC Championship game, which was the 5th best since 2006.
Wow.
2006. Brady's been to what? 7 or 8 straight conference championships games, and he's not even on this top 5 list.
Wow.
And the players on here, it's high praise for what Foles did last week. Rodgers is on here twice. Russell Wilson's on there, and Eli Manning's on there. The time they beat the Patriots, or one of the times they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So, Nick Foles just showed that he can do it. Now, will he do it? That's the question, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But let's see. I guess we'll break down each side of the matchup. Eagles defense versus the Patriots offense. Gronk appears to be fine after suffering a concussion in the AFC Championship game. He's practicing. He will be out there. Don't you worry about that.
If the Super Bowl was this weekend, he would have been fine.
Yeah, it's no problem at all. On the Patriots side of the ball, we know what the Patriots are going to do. They're going to take it down the field methodically, make few mistakes, if any, few turnovers, if any. Heavy dose of dump-offs to the running backs and underneath routes to wide receivers, Amendola, things like that. So we know what the Patriots are. It's not so much what their scheme is going to be. We know what their structure and we know Tom Brady's going to be obviously the focal point, and then whatever he does with the ball, whether it's dumping off to the running backs or taking deep shots on those Eagles corners. But I guess the main question is, can the Eagles stop Tom Brady?
Yep. I think they can.
Just flat out, yep.
Yeah. I think no, it's not. Obviously, you're talking about a very seasoned quarterback. One of the best we've seen play the game.
Oh yeah.
So it's not going to be an easy feat, but the Eagles' defense, it's the real deal. They've, as far as playing, and this will be their hardest test as far as quarterbacks they've faced in the playoffs. They faced a kind of mediocre Matt Ryan. They faced Blake Bortles.
Case Keenum.
No, I was thinking.
You're going back and forth.
Yeah, I'm going back.
Brett's
and forth.
had a long day of work. Give him a break, guys. Give him a break.
Yeah, it's really hard going back and forth. But Case Keenum. So now he's got Tom Brady. So this is a whole different beast. He's got to be able to score points, and the Eagles' defense, I think that they can hold off Tom Brady long enough to stay in this game. Yeah.
The Eagles again. They looked so good at the beginning of the year. And we started seeing them fall off once Wentz went down. And I guess it was just a thing of wrapping their mind around, okay, we got to move forward with Nick Foles. Nick Foles has got to get in a rhythm too. We got to get back in our rhythm. But the Eagles were arguably the best defense in football early on in the season, and maybe we can see that again. They have a ton of depth, which is big when it comes to, especially in Super Bowl games. As we've seen, the Patriots have, once it comes to the fourth quarter, other teams run out of gas because they don't have the depth, and they get tired, and it's just Tom Brady tearing them apart after that.
Yeah.
But the Eagles, they're built well for this game, and I think the game plan it's going to have to be, again, this is why I thought the Jags had a chance last week, but again, they ran out of gas. They got to get pressure on Tom Brady as much as possible. They got to hit him multiple times, and
I think that's obviously that's going to be the big question is if they can come after Tom Brady. The Jaguars did a really good job of that, but like you said,
for a little bit,
like you said, they kind of ran out of juice. That Eagles defense, they're good enough to where they can rush 4 and be fine and be able to drop 7 into coverage. That's what if they can do that for a majority of the game, then that'll be good because their defensive line is so good that they can get to Tom Brady and put pressure on him without having to blitz linebackers and leave Amendola wide open.
Yeah, that's a thing that even if you play that style of defense, get pressure with 4, it's so hard because the Patriots constantly, like that's basically their offense, is these dump-offs to running backs and underneath routes to Amendola in the slot. They take deep shots every now and then.
Yeah.
And even Gronk has been, like, we have not seen him as much of a focal point as he used to be in his, like, early on in his career, because they just don't, I don't know, there's really no point in that offense I shouldn't say that. That's a bad way to phrase it. I mean, Gronk's obviously a super talent that the Patriots are thrilled to have, but I'm just saying he doesn't, I guess he takes away from coverages to open up things underneath more than he actually contributes on, like, catching the ball and getting down the field. Because when it comes to getting down the field, in these playoffs, we've seen the Patriots. It's just been Amendola. It's just been these running backs. It hasn't been Brandon Cooks a little bit. He caught 6 balls last week, which that impressed me because I've been down on Cooks, and I still. I mean, it's one game. Who cares?
You still don't like him.
I just don't think he's very good. Well, that is neither here nor there. We're not talking about that right now. But I do think that the Eagles, comparing themselves to the Jaguars on the defensive side of the ball, I don't think it's that far apart for the front 7, I should say, and maybe back in the back end of the secondary, the safeties and stuff like that. Yeah. But the corners, obviously, not even close to what the Jaguars were. But maybe that's where the Patriots open up a little more, where Brandon Cooks and maybe Chris Hogan get a little more involved because those corners aren't as talented. But I don't know. I still think it's going to be a lot of the Eagles are going to have to get pressure on them. They're going to have to focus in on the dump-offs to the running backs.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to pressure, I will say Eagles lead the league with most pressured snaps with 271. Next closest is 244. So that's 30 more than anybody. They get pressure, and I think they have the highest percentage of pressures with only rushing 4 as well. So just like you said, that's a great stat.
I think that's going to be the key.
Yeah, and when you look back, the Giants, when they beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl, or when the Broncos beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship a few years back, that was the key. It was getting pressure on Tom Brady. And I know Brady's been able to, he has pretty good passer rating when pressured, but, I shouldn't say that. I think he has a good passer rating when blitzed. But when they're pressuring when they're pressuring with just 4, I believe that's when I guess it goes down a little bit. I still think it's pretty high, but anyway, that's still the key. You got to get pressure on Brady. And like I said, the Giants beating the Patriots in 2 Super Bowls. They had great pass rushers. Strahan in one game, and Osi Umenyiora, Jay Pierre-Paul, Justin Tuck. I mean, these are great pass rushers. And the Eagles, I think they can still bring that pressure with Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and all those guys that can really, they're fast too, which is another good thing.
Yeah.
And I just see that I'm trying to get out of the mindset that the Patriots are just going to win this game because I'm trying to get
a hard mindset to get out of.
If we did that, then we'd just come on here and have nothing to talk about. That's why I'm trying to give the Eagles a little. I'm trying to say what they need to do to possibly win this game. I think the Eagles defensive backs. We'll go away from the pass rush for a second. If they can get the pass rush, the Eagles defensive backs are definitely going to have a much easier time guarding the wideouts for the Patriots. So I think, again, Gronk and Amendola, running backs, they're going to be the main focus. I don't really see that big a game for Cooks or Hogan. Maybe I think they're going to use the running backs. They're going to get close to 30 touches. I know I said that for the last game, and I think they got like 25 combined.
Pretty much 30.
Yeah, I mean, they use them all. Dion Lewis is the main guy, then James White. Rex Burkhead comes in for spells. I mean, it's a nice rotation through there. But Eagles just they're going to have to play a perfect game on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Because I assume Nick Foles is going to make some mistakes here and there. We'll get to that here in a second when we talk Eagles offense. Yeah. But, I mean, Eagles, they could play a perfect game, honestly, on defense and still be beaten by Bill Belichick.
Yep.
Bill Belichick, just his scheme and his situations, or his situational football is just spot on. He's the best coach we've ever seen. It's not even close.
Nope.
You can do everything right and still be beaten by this guy. We've seen it time and time again where these comebacks have come on late in games.
Well, Jaguars were pretty close to perfect. And
they
lost.
Again, hey, we won't go down that road again because we talked about. If you want to listen to our reasoning behind why the Jags lost, you can listen to last week's show where we break all that down and everything. But moving on, actually, before we move on into the Eagles offense and against the Patriots defense, I had a question to ask you.
I don't like questions.
Well, you're going to answer it.
I only like statements.
All right. Just a little fun thing. Which Super Bowl commercial are you most looking forward to seeing?
Oh, man.
I know my answer. It's the same every year.
Budweiser? Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Clydesdale?
I love me some Clydesdales. That's the only problem. Super Bowl commercials have been...
They've been so bad. Just awful. Bad. It's not even fun anymore. I really hope this year is different.
You think now that they're paying like $20 million for like 30 seconds of commercials, they'd make good content, but clearly not.
God.
You think we could get a donation for a Super Bowl ad?
Yeah. Let me open up Kickstarter. We'll get one going.
Go fund me. Donate to the 423 football.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Let's see. Super Bowl commercials. Golly, which one was it? Budweiser, the one that had the was it the zebra? It was like
the referee.
Yeah, the referee.
That's a really old one, but a good one. Yeah.
Was it Budweiser?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always Budweiser.
Yeah,
Budweiser's great. I love Coke as long as the polar bears are there.
Yeah, Coke ones are awesome. Some Doritos ones.
Yeah.
Puppy Monkey Baby.
That was awful.
That was my favorite.
That one was awful.
It was so bizarre. Like, I just couldn't even talk for like 5 minutes. But just going back and thinking that, like, everyone the next day was talking about this Puppy Monkey Baby. And I don't know. I guess the fact that everyone was talking about it, like, it was the most remembered one out of that.
Yeah.
Just for being so bizarre, that's why I liked it. It wasn't even funny. By the way, on our sheets, you abbreviated the Roman numeral 4 to 4 eyes.
What? Did I really?
Yeah.
In our notes?
That just really...
Mine's right.
Oh, no.
Mine's right there.
No.
Wow. I didn't even know it could do that.
No, I didn't either, because normally...
It does it automatically.
Word just does it automatically. Okay, anyway, that caught me off guard. I was like, that's a lot of eyes.
Well, my bad.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to say Budweiser, but in the interest of being different, I'll say either Doritos or Coke. I really like the Coke commercials.
Yeah, I'm always sticking with Budweiser. Those are the best.
Those really are the best.
Love me some Clydesdales.
The Clydesdales and that zebra referee... what year was that?
It was a long time ago.
It's like 5 or 6 years
It's probably
ago.
when the Patriots won the Super Bowl. Shocker.
Well, yeah, just pick a year.
Yeah.
It's probably 6 or 7 years ago.
No, that's longer than that.
That was my...
It's got to be
really,
like 10 years.
That was... Still to this day, that's my favorite Super Bowl I've seen.
That was great.
That was the best one.
I'm going to have to go watch that here in a minute. All right, moving on. Eagles offense versus Patriots defense. Can Nick Foles and Doug Pederson exploit the Patriots defense? Plain and simple. Because I think the Eagles can. I think there's a lot better chance that Eagles can control the Patriots offense to some extent. I don't know how long they can do it. I think I have more faith in that than Nick Foles still playing like he did last week. I think he'll still play well.
Yeah. But
the odds of seeing what he did last week, I don't know. It's definitely an easier matchup. I will say that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean
the Vikings defense was the best in the league.
Yeah, I mean, and we saw Foles light up that defense last week.
And no one expected that. So, I mean, it can definitely be done. I would actually go. I would go to the other side. I think the Eagles' defense has a better chance than the Eagles' offense.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Eagles. Yeah. So you agree with me?
Oh, you had it back? Wait, what?
I don't know. We got things mixed up. Anyway, yeah, I agree. Eagles' defense has a better chance than the Eagles' offense, but I think the Eagles' offense has a very, very good chance of exploiting the Patriots' defense. Not so much because of Nick Foles, but because of Doug Pederson.
Yeah.
I don't think people are realizing how good of a coaching matchup this really is. Obviously, I mean, we know what Bill Belichick is, but Doug Pederson, if it wasn't for Sean McVay, actually, I don't know. Maybe Doug Pederson should win Coach of the Year. Sean McVay and him are very, very close in my opinion, but
Sean McVay for a long time he's the only one that I was considering for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
But, Doug Pederson, that is a good. I wouldn't be mad about that.
He is an offensive genius.
But Sean McVay did completely 180 a team.
That's true. But Pederson, he's an offensive genius. The run pass options that he can run, and to do it with your left tackle going out for the year, with your quarterback going out for the year. Yeah. And still get to the Super Bowl. That's crazy.
Impressive.
Let's see. Nick Foles, 23.8 passer rating under pressure this season. Very, 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 very bad. 23.8. That is not good. However, there is
play a whole season.
I understand that. That was in the regular season, but still, that was a decent chunk of games and snaps.
Yeah.
23.8. But however, there's a caveat to this. He was pressured 11 times in the Vikings game, but had a 152.1 passer rating on those pressures, threw 2 touchdowns on those pressures. So we saw a whole different Nick Foles than what we saw. That game is such an outlier from what we've seen Nick Foles do this year. And maybe that's what Nick Foles is. Maybe he just needs time to get going. We've seen him. Back when he was with the Eagles, like the actual starting quarterback for the Eagles, threw 7 touchdowns in a game. Next to no picks that year. It was. I guess he just needed time to get going.
He might need to have another 7 touchdown game.
I don't think he's a bad quarterback.
No,
I told you before the playoffs started, I said I had more faith in Nick Foles than Case Keenum, Bortles. I had faith in Foles over Mariota even. So I think Foles can do it. It's just, will he be able to? Because I know Doug Pederson's going to be scheming. We know that. And Bill Belichick on the defensive side of the ball, we know he's going to put a lot of pressure on Nick Foles. Because regardless of what he did under pressure last week, it's still going to take a lot they're going to put a lot of pressure on the guy. Because if Nick Foles doesn't have a clean pocket, most of the time it's not going to work out. Mm-hmm. He was hardly touched last week, even on those pressures. So again, the Patriots are going kind of the same game plan the Eagles are going to have. Get pressure on the quarterback, and hopefully that'll lead to some errant throws, maybe some tip passes, and let the cornerbacks do their thing, because the cornerback receiver matchups is actually going to be kind of fun to watch. I don't think they're going to be that involved other than maybe some underneath stuff and maybe some deep bombs, because I know Nick Foles, he takes much more shots downfield than Tom Brady does. And, they got guys that can run. Torrey Smith, we saw him. And Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar. Actually, I do want to mention Nelson Aguilar for a second, because the Patriots, I think, if I'm getting this stat right, I think they gave up the most yards to slot receivers this year. And Nelson Aguilar, 90% of his snaps were in the slot this year. So, Nelson Aguilar, maybe if you're looking for a DFS play, sneaky play there. Probably on the cheaper end, because he hasn't done much in a few weeks or at all with Nick Foles as his quarterback. Now, when it comes to the Eagles pass catchers, I know I just rambled on a few of them. Which one do you think is going to be most involved? Like all the pass catchers. You can include running backs, tight ends, whatever you want.
My heart leans Zach Ertz.
I'd have to believe that. It's hard not to. I think it's going to be.
It's been a winning formula for the whole season.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, why would it change?
Yeah. I mean, he's arguably been. I mean, you could argue. Well, he's definitely top 3 guys. Him, Gronk, and Kelsey. I mean, you can put them in whatever order you want.
Yeah.
As to who's been better, but I think
in fantasy, what was the number 1 scoring tight end this year?
I want to say it was Gronk because he had such high yardage. Ertz, I believe, had the touchdowns. Kelsey was I don't know. I think those are the top 3 though. I'm pretty positive, but I do want to say I think these both of these teams. Like, especially on the offensive side of the ball, there's, like the pieces kind of align. It's like, it's not, I mean, I'm not comparing the talent or anything like that because we know what Tom Brady is. We know what Belichick is. But Belichick versus Doug Pederson, that's going to be a battle. I really think it's going to be a good battle there. Foles versus Brady, I honestly think that their stats are going to be kind of similar to what the AFC champion stats were, like Bortles versus Brady. Now we got Foles versus Brady. I think they're going to be kind of similar.
A couple of touchdowns, close to 300 yards.
Yeah, I think the running backs are on both sides of the ball are going to get roughly the same amount of touches. Obviously, the Patriots running backs are probably going to get a little more through the air than the Eagles. And then we have Ertz and Gronk, 2 of the best tight ends in the game right now, and they're going to get a bunch of heavy looks throughout this game. But Eagles' running game and the run-pass option, I think it's going to be... I mean, the running game is going to be there somewhat. I don't know how effective it's going to be. The Patriots did a pretty decent job against the Jaguars last week when it comes to stopping the run. I know Fournette, he had, I think, 70 yards and a touchdown, but they only gave up, I believe, 100 yards on, 30 carries, which that's... I mean, they weren't giving up many long runs. At all. Now, that's the only thing different, I think, between last week's game that the Patriots faced and this week's game, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Again, Doug Pederson and his run-pass option, RPOs, which that brings out a whole different style of coverage when it comes to schemes and how Belichick's going to defend this game, I should say. Because we know the Patriots really don't have that much talent on the defensive side of the ball. They have guys that grade well. They don't really have that much speed. But the thing is, they play such a mental game and the situational football. They're always in the right spot at the right time. They're smart because Belichick's a genius and can somehow make these guys just basically a second appendage to him. And It really shows, but the run-pass option it might be the key, honestly, to someone taking down this Patriots defense. We have Foles, obviously, he's not as mobile as Wentz was when it comes to the run-pass option. He's not going to be, people aren't going to take defenders off and spy Foles thinking he's going to run or anything. But just the fact that, Just go and look up some. Any listeners out there, just go and look up some plays that the Eagles ran this year. Well, most of their plays are run-pass options. Just whether they hand it off to LeGarrette Blount, J.J. Running left. It's just whatever Nick Foles sees at the line, whatever Doug Pederson sees at the line, and they can either just hand it off or they can, if they have man coverage, maybe toss it up to Alshon Jeffrey. It's a good situation to be in and a good offense to run, and it's. Even though it sounds complicated, it's really not. It's just making the right read.
Yeah.
And that's going to be because I know Belichick is going to try to disguise his coverages as much as possible, just like any coach would.
Right.
But it's just whether Nick Foles can make the right reads, not make mistakes, and possibly win them a Super Bowl.
Possibly.
But anyway, so we broke down both sides of the ball. So what do you think the Eagles have to do to win this game?
I think, we talked about this before, but I really do think that the key to winning that game for the Eagles is going to be being able to pressure Brady with the front four and not having to blitz linebackers. Yeah, I really think that's going to be the difference maker.
Yeah, they have to hit him multiple times.
Yeah, early and often.
Early and often. And honestly, I have no problem. I do think the Eagles will dial up a few safety blitzes and cornerback blitzes, kind of switch things up a little bit.
They're going to blitz at some point.
Yeah. Well, because again, I think they can pull corners off of those receivers every now and then because I don't think the receivers are very good. The running backs, linebackers covering the running backs, and safeties, Malcolm Jenkins, for instance, covering Gronk. That's going to be the key. But yeah, Eagles pressuring Tom Brady. I think they have to control the time of possession. Yeah. Heavy dose of the run. Even though I don't think it'll take them very far because Nick Foles, again, he's going to have to make a big play at some point. Yeah. We saw Bortles, he did what he needed to do, but he never really made that big play with his arm. He just protected the ball. And that's fine, but it's not going to get you the win against the Patriots. And again, don't turn the ball over against the Patriots. That's the big no-no. You do that, that's a recipe for disaster already. You have to win the turnover battle. And Nick Foles, I mean, he's got to continue what he did last week.
Yeah, you don't want to put all the pressure on a quarterback, but I mean, he does. When he drives the game, I mean, he's going to be the determinant on whether or not they can score.
That's what I think. I think getting pressure on Brady and time of possession are the two big things. Time of possession, one, you're keeping Brady off the field, and two, you're keeping your defense fresh and fresh legs. I mean, that's key, especially if you want to keep hitting him at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yep. All right. So, what do the Patriots have to do to win this one?
Other than
just be the Patriots.
Other than be Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. That's generally a good winning combination. But I think that the biggest thing is they're going to have to win the turnover battle. Since Bill Belichick has coached the Patriots, they are 159-15 when they won the turnover battle, which is really
really good.
which I think is one of the most impressive stats on Bill Belichick's resume.
Oh yeah, that's like Saban-esque stats right there.
Whenever they are positive in the turnover differential, they are 159-15.
15 times.
So it starts with winning the turnover battle. Nick Foles can't give it up, and they've got to have a defensive turnover and score, much like the Jaguars should have had.
Yeah. So maybe this will be the 16. Maybe it'll be the 16.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, just as we said, the Eagles have to pressure Brady. The Patriots have to protect Brady. That's going to be key as well. I still think if they hit him just a few times and start giving him time in the pocket late in the game, it's not going to be good. He's going to pick you apart.
Also, I think the Eagles have to control Danny Amendola because he's been amazing in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying.
They saved him for the playoffs. I'm telling you. Anybody says that was their plan the whole time.
Well, it's the underneath guys. Yeah. It's the dump offs. They don't really take shots down the field. We know it's a boring style of offense, but it's very methodical and it's very situational, and it works. So
in the postseason, he has 18 catches for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just in the postseason.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all. I mean, it's crazy. And they really have to control him. They can't let him score at will.
Yeah. And then for the Patriots, they're just, again, play your game, disciplined football, situational football.
What they always do.
Yeah, the Belichick way. I mean, if that's the thing I love about Belichick. If one guy screws up, like, just horribly, like blown coverage, just playing wrong situation, makes a bonehead mistake, Belichick will pull you out of the game.
He doesn't care.
I really admire that. Now they're going to have to force Nick Foles into 3rd and longs. If they can do that, I don't think the Patriots are going to have a problem defeating the Eagles at all and win the special teams battle. I think special teams is actually going to be a very, very big part of this game. I think there's going to be a lot of field goals kicked. I think the punters are going to be very active in this one. So flipping the field is going to be key. And again, special teams and turnovers. If you can get a turnover on special teams, that's going to be huge. Yeah. Winning the turnover battle on special teams is key to a victory.
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, who is your winner for Super Bowl 52?
I think I'm going to pull for the underdogs. I'm going to go, I think the Eagles.
You got the Eagles?
Yep.
All right, I actually have the Eagles as well.
I don't know. I mean, it's just it might be a pipe dream. It may be. I don't think it's not my bias. I honestly do think that the Eagles are a lot better than people give them credit
I
for.
do too.
And there's nothing against the Patriots or anything like that, but I think that they're a team that can be beaten.
Well, that's what, like when I said...
It all starts with the Eagles' defense, I think, is going to be the winner.
Yeah, when we first saw who was going to play in this game, I was like, okay, the Patriots are going to wipe the floor with them. It's not going to be anything close.
I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm not even sure that I want to watch it because it's just going to be another Tom Brady Super Bowl that I've seen before. I mean, it's not going to be exciting.
Yeah, but again,
the more I've discredited the Eagles enough this season, so I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think people don't understand like the gravity of the game and what it means. Like, you put any team, like, I don't care, like almost any team. I won't say the Browns or anything, but like any playoff team, I should say, or borderline playoff team, you put them in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Like, if they got to this point, it's a Super Bowl. Anything could happen at this point. People, that's why the Patriots have, people have said that they've had easy roads to the Super Bowl, but once they get there, I mean, once you get there, you're playing for it. It's one game.
Yeah.
You win, you hoist the Lombardi Trophy. Mm-hmm. So the Eagles have a chance here, and I do think that they actually pull this off. I think it's going to be somewhat low scoring. I don't think the scoring is going to open up until the second half, really. But I think the Eagles come out on top 26-24. I think... I'm bold prediction here. Goskowski misses the game-winning field goal.
Oh,
clock runs out. He misses the game-winning field goal.
I like that.
26-24. So
I like that.
I do want to mention a few. We won't break this down too much because daily fantasy. It's only one game, but
you only have a very select number of people to pick from.
Yeah, that's kind of if you just pick who you want. Really, do a budget. Scenario. I did look. I actually prepared.
Oh, good.
For once,
we haven't done that ever.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if you're playing the playoff challenge on NFL.com, or I think there's one on ESPN, you can pick anyone you want.
Yeah.
Obviously, Foles, Brady. You know who you're picking through those. But I looked at FanDuel's. I think DraftKings and a few others are different, but FanDuel's has. They only have one competition for this one, and you get to pick 4 flexes and then 1 flex that counts to double the points. So I did one, and I'll just tell you guys my lineup. I'm probably going to change it a million times or add different ones, but this is my first look at it. I have Brady in one of the flexes. I have Foles in my double flex, so you want the 2 quarterbacks.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just
that's quarterbacks that score a lot of points.
Yeah, and if you can have 2, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I got Burkhead in there because he's pretty cheap, and I think he gets a little bit. I wanted James White. I'd much rather have James White if I could fit that in.
Is he more expensive?
Yeah, he's more expensive. If I could switch it up,
makes sense.
I definitely would. And then I have Danny Amendola. I still think he's gonna.
If I had to pick one player outside of the quarterbacks and Gronk, I would probably pick.
I think Gronk's the second most or the third most expensive behind Brady and Foles, so I'm not really
makes sense.
Yeah. And Alshon.
If you got Brady and Foles, you're probably not going to be able to get Gronk.
Yeah, and I threw in Jake Elliott, kicker. I think. Well, 26-24. I think it's going to be a lot of field goals in this game. I think there's not going to be that many opportunities for touchdowns for either side. I think there's going to be a lot of red zone stops.
Yeah.
And it's going to result in some field goals. So maybe Jake Elliott. And he's cheaper than pretty much most people because he's a kicker. So I was trying to budget there. And I think he's like 1,000 less than Goskowski in FanDuel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you got both the quarterbacks, you got a budget.
Yeah, definitely. So that is it. That is our Super Bowl preview. We will be back next week to recap the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Hopefully, we're just talking the same thing. Maybe we got everything right.
Maybe we got everything right.
We just broke down the entire game. You don't
have to watch it.
No, you don't need to watch it.
Just tune in for the commercials and then switch over when it goes back to the game.
Yeah, the commercials. The commercials and halftime.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake.
I think Justin Timberlake's going to be the winner of the Super Bowl.
Probably, especially if he. No, maybe he won't have another Janet Jackson.
His return to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, hey,
no, he won't do that again.
It'll
be awesome.
If the Patriots are looking for like a guaranteed sign that they're going to win, I mean, Patriots won the last time he did that, so They beat the Panthers. Yeah, Super Bowl 38. Yeah.
We had a friend that went to that game. Panthers fan, so he was sad.
Yeah, we did.
But he got to see a stellar halftime show.
Yeah. Yes, he did. You think he'll bring up any guests, Timberlake?
I think so, yeah.
Who do you think would be like a possible guest?
With Justin Timberlake,
I don't
know.
Who's singing the national anthem?
Ooh, I don't know. Good question.
Oh, it's Pink. Pink singing the national anthem.
Yeah, Pink. Pink, I could see that. Of course, Bruno Mars is always at the Super Bowl.
He just shows
now.
up.
he just literally walks in and starts singing.
I bet. You think Chris Stapleton will be there? Because aren't they touring together now? Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake?
That's probably pretty good. That can be a good bold prediction.
Bold prediction.
I wanted to go back to, I was talking about fantasy tight ends. Gronk finished number 1. He had the most yards.
Yeah.
He had 8 touchdowns and 1 2-point conversion. Travis Kelce had a little less yards. They were only off by 8 points and 8 touchdowns. Zach Ertz also had 8 touchdowns, but he didn't have the yardage. But number 4, Jimmy Graham. I didn't realize this, but he had 10 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he was a touchdown machine, but he only had 520 yards.
Yeah,
so
I forget. Yeah,
He's a touchdown machine right now, but if he can get the yardage, he'd be out. Yeah,
if
10
you had
touchdowns, that's ridiculous.
If you had to choose, I'll leave Jimmy Graham out of this for now. But Gronk, Ertz, and Kelce. If you had to choose one of those guys to be your tight end for the next 5-6 years, who would you choose? Gronk's a little bit older than all of them.
Yeah.
I think Ertz is actually older than Kelce, if I'm not mistaken.
I would probably lean Kelce no matter what. It's either Kelce or Ertz. Am I starting a new team or am I like taking over the Patriots? Because if I'm taking over the Patriots,
no, I'm saying in fantasy.
Oh, in fantasy. Oh. Well, you see, you got the thing about Brady, he's not going to be around for 10
Alex
years.
Smith might not be around much longer. We don't know what Patrick Mahomes is going to be.
Yeah, I'd probably put Zach Ertz up at the top.
Yeah, I think I'd go Ertz. Then granted, I mean, it's basically not a coin flip unless you had a 3-sided coin. But I think
it's a die roll.
Yeah, 3-sided die. But anyway, I think it's very close. I do like Ertz a little bit better. I like this quarterback situation moving forward. We don't
and that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, we don't know really at all who Kelce's quarterback is going to be for the future yet. No. Brady's not far off, and Gronk doesn't seem to be able to stay healthy every year. Granted, this is the first year Ertz has stayed healthy.
I know Ertz has the same thing.
So
I still would lean Ertz.
It'd be Ertz. Yeah, I'd put Ertz and Gronk like 1A, 1B.
Yeah. If we're talking about like next year, obviously it's gonna be Gronk.
Number
1. But
nothing's changing there.
For like a dynasty, like longevity, like you can't get rid of him. I'd probably do Ertz because I do believe in his talent, no matter who the quarterback is. I mean, not and that, he should have. Not that Gronk isn't like that. We've never seen him without Brady.
Yeah, Ertz to Carson Wentz should be like Brady to Gronk. What we see,
the next 10 years.
if they stay healthy, Brady to Gronk or Rivers to Gates or I wouldn't say Ryan to Gonzalez because that didn't happen much, but it happened quite a bit. Romo to Witten, there we go.
Romo to Witten.
Favre to Bubba Franks.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so I do want to give I said I was going to give you a little schedule update. This is, again, it's tentative, not 100% sure, but this is what we are planning on having for the upcoming week. So next week, that'll be the 7th. We'll have the Super Bowl recap. We'll break down everything that happened in the Super Bowl. Then on the 12th, that's when we're going to start moving to Mondays. We'll start recording on Sunday and then dropping them on Monday. So on the 12th, we'll have our 2017 Fantasy Football Awards Show. I know we've been putting that off for a while. We said we're going to wait till after the Super Bowl, but don't worry. It's going to be there. Hopefully we'll have a lot of listeners for that one because it's going to be a great show, one of our best. And then week after that, the 19th, we're going to have the first look at free agency. We're going to talk all the free agents that are out there right now, unrestricted, restricted, talk which ones are best at each position. I don't know how much we'll talk about defense because I know there's a lot of, there's a lot of defensive players out there, but mainly we're still a fantasy football show, so we're going to focus in on the offensive side of the ball. And then week after that, the 26th of February, we'll do our first NFL mock draft show, and hopefully, I don't know how many we'll do before the actual draft, but I do want to have like some kind of like we can make some kind of beer bet incorporated thing, trying to predict the picks in the NFL draft. So that is going to be all for today. Again, we'll be back next week to talk Super Bowl recap. Good luck to all those Eagles and Patriots fans out there. Hopefully you'll get what you want. Obviously, half of you will not. But
exactly half of you will not.
Hey, I'm just hoping for a good game and hoping that I don't know. We just see some fireworks. Maybe some Justin Timberlake.
I'm just excited.
Great performance. Yeah, and some dope Budweiser commercials.
Some Budweiser commercials. I'm really
someone needs to impress me.
I need to see some Clydesdales.
Yeah, Clydesdales and zebras. That's all I want. Give me a Dalmatian. I'm good with that too. Okay, so make sure you follow us over on Twitter at the423football. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Give us a like. Leave your comments and reviews. Share us with the world. Thanks for listening. We are the 423 Football Podcast.
Peace.